Hey guys, this is Tom Box, and I have a very special guest with us here today. One of the YouTube legends on Yu-Gi-Oh! Skits, Paul.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
No, thank you for coming on such short notice. Now, we both have been playing Master Duel a lot. What do you both think about the game right now?
Yeah, loads of fun. Give or take some small, tiny issues. I've really been enjoying it, yes.
Okay.
Quite a lot.
This is perfect. And I would love to hear your opinion on today's topic, which is the ban list handling and a little bit of cheating and a little bit more little side topics, but ban list handling. What are some of the biggest problems you hate in this game right now in terms of strategy-wise?
So honestly, this game it's loads of fun. I definitely enjoy it, but things can get pretty chaotic. I think that everybody kind of agrees Drytron is a lot. I know you play this deck. Yeah. You're part of the problem, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
You're the bully. But I mean, even without Drytron in the picture, there are a number of decks that kind of seem to crop up in terms of like complaints. You hear a little bit of like Lyreless Tri-Brigade. It shows up a lot. Add Emancipator with like triple block dragon. You know, decks can just feel really overwhelming. Some people don't like the idea of, Maxi and things. We'll probably get a little bit more into that because I think it's all right. But, I get why people might think that. And then also there's cheese, there are cheese strategies that kind of exist. They can show up and like ruin your day. People played a variety of different Exodia things. Some people even hate like Rin Baju, which, I'm not trying to say like that's like the worst.
I mean, that's more of a best of one issue than anything.
Yeah, that's one thing I think actually is a huge part of it. But yeah, it's fun, but there are definitely some like upper tier strategies that can really crush the experience. Like if you're not.
No, that's like one of the most legitimate opinions out there for sure. Because Drytron Herald's a big problem. Rongo Turbo is a big problem because you can't literally you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't even care if they have Skill Drain and Eldritch. I care that I can't even press a single button. That's like a big problem to me. Pendulum FTK, I mean it's a cool strategy, and I know you want to get that achievement. Okay, I get it. There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of stuff we want banned, but that's not what we're here to really talk about. We get it. It kind of relates to it, but we want to talk about ban list handling. Because think about it right now. We play more or less an OCG ban list. And there's like different factions here in terms of what people want. People either want to split it, TCG, OCG, or they want to do maybe world rotation. This is actually kind of a concept that kind of randomly came out. Or play as is. Give us the opportunity to play like OCG, because we never really get to play their ban list ever until recently in Master Duel. So, you know what? There's actually pros and cons in each of these. Why don't we start with splitting? What if they decide to region split us? They decide to split the league, split the ladder climbing into two sides, TCG versus OCG. What would that be like?
Oh, for me, I always thought that this was a somewhat practical idea. I mean, like, there's issues that can come up in terms of the technicals of it. Like, if they just do a regional split that's identical to the TCG, where it's like, all right, if you're basically in Europe or, North, South America, you get like one list, and then like Japan and a couple other countries get another. That would seemingly be fine. I do wonder if like people might kind of start like using things like VPNs and other like things to maybe like skirt some of those rules. But I don't think that would be a bad thing. I think that they would of course have to make the matchmaking itself, like that process needs to also be reflected. It sounds easy enough, but like when I play Master Duel, I get paired up with a lot of players who, I mean, at least they seem like there's like Japanese players, Japanese usernames. So like that would certainly be like, I don't want to call it an issue because I mean, it's technically you just split up matchmaking, but it could be neat. I do think it sort of fragments content though. And like sort of the way that news and stuff goes around too. So like when I think of like how that Xyz event just ended, would you also have to start like doing events like that too? Like, oh, we're going to have the Synchro Festival, but like in this version of the Synchro Festival, Maxi isn't legal, and this one it is, or in this version, because now like even the events start to all have to sort of be like that to some degree. So it seems like something that maybe Konami may not want to have to trouble themselves with doing. It's like this separate, the maintenance that comes with separating each side.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. There's a huge issue with that kind of scoping when you decide to split a region. I mean, that's a lot of maintenance. Now you have to maintain maybe an additional team of, I guess, developers just to handle the one side of things. And then, yeah, how does events work? How do you even like merge events? Like, are events even going to be the same between the two sides? And like, this game technically is also a mobile game, right? That complicates things even further. So I don't think the scoping would make sense for that. And I don't think splitting is practical. I do enjoy playing the OCG stuff. It lets us take a break from, the physical cardboard, where that's region locked already. Why not actually give us something that's a little bit more open?
Something also that's kind of related, I would say, is that in the TCG, like for those who've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh for loads and loads, we kind of know about the OCG TCG split. This is not news to us. It's been that way just for so long that it's basically just seen as fact. But like you said, it's a mobile game. There are a lot of people who are just playing Master Duel extremely casually, like they just, oh, I saw Yu-Gi-Oh games in the App Store, cool, looks fun. And they wouldn't even know about how this divide works. And for them, that might seem overwhelming or seem confusing. Like, yeah, okay, I guess it's just following this ban list when I play it here, but then what happens if you go and visit another country and like suddenly when you log in it changes? Would it be like that sort of thing, or is it just based on your account and not actually your location? And then also like when you look into content on YouTube or something and you see this thing with like, oh, this is OCG or Japan Master Duel deck profile, it kind of would start to, there'd be some confusion that I think Konami probably would prefer people not feel confused or overwhelmed.
Yeah, by. It's like segregating your own audience. Like, why would you want to do that?
People won't like that.
Yeah, I think keeping all in one group is just better. I think it's for anyone that's creating content overall, probably would want to keep them together. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
you're gonna get a much smaller audience if you decide to split that up. So so splitting, but I think both of us are in agreement here. I don't think that's a good idea. It's just too much scoping, too much segregation even in content creation, and it causes confusion within the audience. So here's the other one. So right now we're technically playing an OCG-esque ban list, right? It's mostly OCG. Let's face the facts here. Dragoon's ban, Mystic Mind's ban. Oh man, I bet a lot of TCG players love that. And we have Max C. So what about like TCG? What, like, there's like the option, sure, we get to play the OCG format, but do the OCG players, they get to play a TCG format? So this is the world rotation that I'm speaking of. So we're going to do perhaps one ban list that is focused on maybe an OCG, and then maybe they'll rotate it. Then they'll do TCG-esque ban list where there's Max C is gone, and then we get all those other crazy cards like Mystic Mind and Dragoon back into the play. Like, what do you think about that?
So my personal opinion is that I wouldn't mind that because I'd like to see a Master Duel that more closely resembles the game I play at my local card shop. I really honestly would. I mean, part of that comes from just like wanting an updated card pool, which it seems like that's in the pipeline. But there's one really big problem, I think, that would come from doing something like that. The back and forth, or we wouldn't even know it's back and forth necessarily, but like changing it up like that, people would get really pissed with like the cards that they've dismantled and like kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
okay. I actually kind of want to get into a little bit more detail into it because cards are going to get banned. Let's just face the facts here. Cards are going to get banned. We will get into a bit more detail when we get there. But
so here's the thing, right? Okay, if a card is extremely overpowered or enough people are complaining about it, like it wouldn't be some crazy stretch of the imagination for Eva to get banned, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that in Dry Towns. And I think anybody who plays that deck is well aware of that fact.
Yeah.
But I think that for maybe the average person, it's not a matter of Max C needing to be banned, but rather it would just be getting banned because we're switching to a TCG thing, and they wouldn't, and that might also cause people confusion or maybe just a bit of frustration because it's like we're not saying Max C's broken, we're saying it's just going to be banned for 3 months because we're just switching, and then it'll be back 3 months later.
I mean, that's not gonna be transparent though. That's the thing.
Yeah. So it's like if people don't know that and they just see their staples getting hit, I think they'll start to be pretty upset. Anyone can get behind like an Eva ban or a Block Dragon ban because you know it's in the specific decks that it's used in is extremely powerful, but like a seemingly arbitrary ban on Max C or some other just card that's commonly used would, I think, rub a lot of people the wrong way.
It's
particularly true. Like if you looked at, I'm not saying that this card specifically is going to be getting hit or anything, but like Called by the Grave, for instance. Let's say that, you know, it was at, because like it's at 3 in one place and 0 at the next place. Like assuming that was the case, people might just feel like, what the heck? Like it's just a staple. Like it's not, you know what I mean? And like why is it just
it's true.
Suddenly? Because when you look to a ban list, I think you look for it to be like hitting broken cards, not just hitting cards because it can hit cards. So people might not like that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, then again, a lot of people are super opinion based when it comes to the ban list. Everyone has their own opinion about it, and you know, we have our opinions about it too. But here's the thing about like the handling of that. Like, sure, the whole like shift on like staple cards could you know, rile people up pretty badly, and you know, might cause like, oh, I'm gonna quit this game or whatever. If there was a little bit more transparency about how they're hitting things, like a little bit earlier on, it would make it a lot easier. And compensation. This is kind of the part that I want to get into.
Interesting.
What if they compensate you for the cards that are banned? What if they actually provide you with the ability to dismantle them? But let's do it the Hearthstone way. You can dismantle them, but you dismantle them for 30 instead of the typical 10.
Interesting.
Then they're technically not losing any money because you're just getting rid of all your banned cards and you switch in for stuff of the same rarity, and then you can swap them out.
So
and
I was gonna say my cynical stance on that is I love it. I somehow feel like it just seems very like involved for Konami to do something like I don't expect them to be so kind about it.
But like server wise, it's like a real easy thing. It's like cards that have been touched by the ban list, they can create an array or a list of whatever cards that are banned, and then toggle their sell price for that week. You have to be engaged to know this. You change their price to 30. And then when you break them, you can switch them for a different ultra rare, even at the common level. If it's a royal rare, then you switch it for 90 or something. I don't know, it's like just double the price or something. Then it makes it a little bit more like I'm a little bit more involved into like, you know, I wouldn't mind as much because monetarily I'm not losing anything. Sure, those cards I've invested into using my crafting points, they're now interchangeable with something else at the same rarity, and I think the way that they kind of set it up is kind of built like that. It's not like Hearthstone where you only have one currency, you have dust and that's it, and that's for everything. But this one they decide to split it up, so you always get equivalent exchange when you do something like that, so no one's feeling like they're getting targeted. Like, oh, I just crafted that card for like my 30 gems, and now I can't get it back because, you know, you did an update and, you know, things got banned. I mean, it's a pretty clean way of handling, and I think people will be a bit more accepting of these kinds of change. Or, you know, Konami could totally tell us to like just suck it up, you know? Like,
yeah, which I truthfully I hate
give us some gems. Then just give us
that's probably like that seems more likely. I mean, I could see them maybe being like, here, you get some gems, you can open some packs and try again. But yeah, I like the idea. Like, I want it to be clear. Like, I would love it. I'm just saying it just feels like with the Konami that like we know, that just sounds like they could be overly generous of them, but please, by all means, I welcome.
Well, like it doesn't change like too much. I mean, sure, if they like make us suck it up, that means we have to pay more. But if we don't have to suck it up and they give us the equivalent exchange, then they don't lose anything because we've already paid for it in some sense. And it's just like we get to play with our stuff and we get to have a smoother transition. And like having a rough transition, I mean, imagine like playing in TCG and having your key cards banned. I mean, people that played like Thunder Dragon getting their Colossus banned back in the day, that was pretty upsetting for a lot of Thunder Dragon players.
And there's not necessarily any recourse there immediately in the physical game, so at least having it in the digital would be cool.
Exactly. So this is something that is, I think it's worthy. And I guess the third way to approach like the ban list is to just leave it as OCG. I mean, it's easy for them to maintain. It's the most cost-effective way for them to play. It's actually more beneficial for us because we get variety, whereas in Asia or in OCG land, they get to play as if it was, you know, just part of their daily thing. So overall, it's like either way, one side will get variety and one side will get the consistency.
I'll say so. Two things with this, Ben, and these might sort of be like getting into some future points. So I'll just kind of be brief. One thing that I'm interested in seeing is the communication around this. Obviously, we know in the TCG, Bandless comes out, you get nothing else. Like, it's up to date. They're not going to tell you anything about why they hit what they hit. Konami has virtually never done that, and I don't think that that's going to be changing in the TCG anytime soon. I'm wondering if in Master Duel, when this happens, are we going to get something maybe akin to Duel Links, where they at least give because I don't know if you know, like in Duel Links Bandless, they do give explanations as to why cards got like hit or moved or whatever. It's nothing in super deep depth, but they do tell, like, they're like, hey, we changed this because it was centralizing games too much, or we want Harpy decks to have to take more risk with this card. Like, they do give like a kind of baseline explanation. And I think
patch notes. Basically patch notes.
Yeah, basically patch notes. And I'm wondering if that's something that like we would get in this game too, because it's a mobile game and people are like really putting time and like money into this, and it's like for some people, like, just play it every day. I think they would want something of an explanation as to why their Evo or their Block Dragon or their whatever got like banned one day.
I agree.
Or limited.
No, that's for sure. I think having that transparency makes it easier for people to accept, because if you have an opinion about something and they kind of like officially officiate it, kind of thing, like they verify for you, you know, it just makes it so that everyone they accept that this is an issue, and
it makes it feel less like the hits are arbitrary. Like, because a year from now, once we've had let's say 3 ban lists or 4 ban lists a year from now, and we've seen these patch notes, I think people will have a better idea of where Konami's headspace is at. And so now, like, people wouldn't be as frustrated or confused by ban lists as they maybe are sometimes the TCG, where it's like, you know, why did they put Pot of Desires to 1? It can feel quite random. And like, everyone's got some explanation. Like, oh, they did it because of this deck. Oh, they did it because of that. But, like, you'll never know. And so I think that communication would be good. My second thing is, I don't mind an OCG-led ban list, but I do hope that the card pools can catch up to that.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you're getting an OCG-led ban list, but without the card pool that even the TCG fully has right now, like, we still don't have a lot of stuff in like Versa Destiny and Dawn of Majesty, it just starts to all like fall apart a little bit to me.
Okay.
Like, it's fine as is now, but like, there are decks that I want to play, like say Despia, Fluanderies, or of course the Brave Engine, and it would be a little strange if, like in the OCG, you know, Brave Engine being hit, and then like in Master Duel it gets hit, and then it's like, wait, is it even in Master Duel yet? Like and then when it comes to Master Duel, is it already hit in the same way that maybe the OCG hit it? Is that like
good point?
It just might end up with the situation where cards come out in Master Duel limited to 1 or something.
Oh, that would be stupid. That would be very stupid.
And I don't think people would like that. I think that would start to feel... It just feel weird.
I feel like they might even have their own... I feel like Master Duel might just even exclusively have their own ban list in general. It might be like tuned towards OCG, similar to them, but it might just be its own thing. And it would make sense... To me, it would actually make sense. It's kind of like, you know, Duel Links is its own thing, Speed Duel is its own thing, Physical Cards is its own thing, and Master Duel can also be its own thing. Yeah, you know what? That's all fair points. If you guys have anything to add, feel free to leave it down in the comment section. We love to hear your opinions, and this is just more research, more data to kind of get a feel for where the community feels in terms of, you know, cards getting banned in general. But speaking of stuff getting banned, cheating is a huge issue in this game right now. We're just gonna touch upon it just a little briefly.
I've heard a little bit about this. So what's going on with that? Like, I've seen screenshots and like kind of complaints.
There's videos and everything. There's a lot of problems. It even happens on stream from time to time. It is terrible. I mean, the auto surrender thing, that's been taken care of, but now they're dealing with people unlocking all cards. Okay, that one doesn't seem so bad. Like, people, it does upset people that are paying, but unlocking all cards, okay. But the problem is when you play with ban cards, that's a problem. You're playing ban cards.
There's an Exodia thing.
Yeah, the undersized decks. Okay, if you play an 8-card Exodia, it's like, yeah, it's pretty bad. But you're not playing the 5-card Exodia guy.
Yeah,
that is way worse.
So here's something I have on that. For those of you guys cheating, don't do that. It's not cool. But
You're
like
gonna get
also,
reported.
yeah, you will probably get reported. You'll probably get banned, and it ruins the experience for other people. Just don't. But here's the thing. I have faith that Konami will be addressing this stuff quickly because in every other issue that we've had so far, it's been addressed pretty fast, actually. Like,
Oh yeah.
they hit the whole like people just playing the self-burn FTK thing in Xyz Festival. They addressed it. Was it a perfect way to address it? No, but I mean it did enough of a job.
It definitely deterred me from doing that myself because I'm like, yeah, why would I want to play like a 10-minute game when I can do like a 3-minute game and
then the auto surrender thing also that got patched really fast.
Yeah.
So I mean, it seems like Konami, in the case of Master Duel at least, are responding very quickly on the ground to anything that happens. And I think that in this case, they're going to do the same thing, because they have to. Like, this game has gotten way too many downloads and it's way too popular for it to be riddled with an experience-breaking bug or whatever. So, like, it's in their best interest to fix this stuff fast.
I mean, it is affecting their bottom line, too. If someone gets to unlock all cards and get to play with it without even owning the card, that is a big problem, because that means what's the point of getting gems? What's the point of any rewards? That's gonna be pretty bad. So that's why I think people should get banned for one thing. They should also shame people. You know what? I'm on the side of they should put those people's IDs on display.
Oh God!
That are shameless. Hey,
easy, Tombots, easy.
Hey, no. Hey, look, TCG has a banned suspended list. Why don't we get one for this? Like, oh, you can even compare it with your friend's ID. Like, oh, why did they suddenly stop playing? You can put them into socially awkward questioning. You know
what could be kind of interesting is if like they get like a symbol by their like user.
Oh.
And like it just permanently stays there for like 6 months or however many. You know what I mean? Like some period of time, maybe even forever. And so like when you duel these people, like that this was like a cheater. But I guess they'd rather just ban the person.
Yeah, just ban them.
I don't know.
But no, I think shaming them is also good. Shaming them is also good. Yeah. Oh man, I wish there was some sort of like anti-cheat stuff. Like, you know how games get really creative with anti-cheat and piracy stuff. Like, oh, you're playing a pirated version of this. Invincible boss mode comes out, or like when they try to attack you for game or something, you'll always be stuck with 1 life point, and the other guy is cheating. That would be so funny.
I think like bad eggs from Pokemon, like where if you're like hacking your Pokemon, it like shows up as a bad egg, and it's like kind of this pun because like you're being a bad egg, and it's yeah. It's kind of interesting. I think
it'd be neat though. It would be really funny, like if they try to do anything like that. They try to attack for game or whatever. Or they have Exodia in their hand, but instead you get the win because they're cheating because their deck is undersized. That would be so funny. And then they make a video. Like, say these people they make a video. It's like, oh my god, the game is broken. I couldn't even deal 1 life point worth of damage. They're kind of self-exposing themselves. That would be so funny.
Yeah, you sold me. Maybe they should. Oh, shaming might not be too bad.
It's like they can self-shame. They don't even know that they're self-shaming. It'd be really fun. It's like those people that are like on Twitch and they're like playing Counter-Strike and they're cheating. They're like wall hacking, whatever, and they got exposed on their own channel. And then Twitch bans them. It's like, oh man, I just want some level experience like that on Master Duel. That's just, I don't know. That's just me. I enjoy the shame.
I actually think that, I mean, in a game like this too, the big problem with I always got stuck all these things problems. I'll try to be more positive. I think that with Yu-Gi-Oh players and gamers in general, when we're given a set of parameters, or we're given something, a lot of people take it as a challenge to try to break it.
Oh yeah.
And so like there's always going to be some incentive for people to hack, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to try to hack something. I'm going to try to find some cheat, find some exploit, break the game in some way. So this is Konami's first time, at least in the Yu-Gi-Oh space, of having this persistent game where this is going to be a constant worry for them. Like, their developers are going to have to kind of always be ready for this to happen, because even when we patch all this stuff out, there's going to be more people always going at it with the hammer.
They're going to need anti-cheat on the server side. It has to be. They need anti-cheat on the servers. I think because people are constantly data mining now. Data mining is just always going to be a constant thing. And if the game gets data mined and they find the loopholes, this could be Konami's way of just letting things kind of happen for a little bit, and then they're kind of getting like free development testing, like free cheat
QA
testing. It's free QA. It's kind of like free QA because they can also download that tool. That tool is like really out. It's really easy access.
Yeah,
I'm not promoting you guys to go get it, but I'm just saying it's really easy to get. So like, I do worry that, you know, they could be lacing it with like a virus or anything, so they probably should, like, you know, test it before downloading that damn thing, and then reverse engineer everything that he's doing, and then close every hole that way. That's probably the best way of doing it, because that way it's more secure. You know what they're kind of hammering on, stuff like that. It just makes a lot of sense to kind of reverse engineer whatever, because if it's available and that guy's not even trying to hide it, not even like hiding it somewhere like hard to find, then just reverse engineer and shut every loophole down. It's the easiest way, I guess. I don't know, but that's all I got. If you guys have any opinions, leave it down in the comment section. We'd love to read over your thoughts about, you know, this issue. I think they should be setting up an anti-cheat. Of course, anti-cheat, eventually people create bypasses due to the anti-cheat, and then, you know, it's, I don't know. Like,
it's always a race.
Yeah, it's security is always going to be a thing, but right now you can think of it as free QA, I guess. Ugh.
Yeah, and so here's a question for you. I know we're kind of like wrapping it up a bit here, but when do you expect the first ban list to actually happen?
Oh, good one. I think 3 months. I think it's gonna be very similar to Duel Links. Like, Duel Links do a KC Cup. They do a KC Cup thing, and then they ban stuff. They could have post like the first tournament level event, and then do bannings after that.
So are we thinking like end of April, end of March?
I'm thinking mid-April. I'm thinking mid-April. Maybe mid-April. They could actually slow this one down a little bit because it is the release of a game, and technically we're playing in the 2020 format, right?
Yeah, I know.
It does feel like we're playing in 2020 format, so it's like they could let us, you know, when we start to voice our complaints about, like, you know, game getting stale, that's probably when we're gonna see it. Because like what would you want in Master Duel in terms of like product release? You know, that's a totally different topic. That's like there's different things in general about that.
Yeah, I won't get too deep into it, but I will just suffice it to say, I really do want them to catch up already.
Oh yeah,
because,
for sure.
Like, I don't have any. I won't get too much more specific than that, but I think it's literally in most of our best interest if we can just get a closer to up-to-date card pool, like maybe even just right up to Battle of Chaos. Even if you can't get things right after that, like, that would be nice or something. But.
Okay, so you want the game to be parallel to the physical cards?
Close.
You know, it's actually good. It's actually good for sales.
Close.
To be honest.
Like, I think close. I think that there's a small benefit to them not quite keeping it entirely up to date. Maybe if only to kind of like encourage you to buy the latest set. So like, let's say that this update maybe comes in March, right? Where we get everything up to Battle of Chaos, but then Dimension Force, we won't actually get that till like the end of the summer. So they always kind of give you like a couple months buffer and then get it in. That might, I don't know. I won't get into it, but yeah, it'd be cool.
Okay, no, that's fair. Well, that's all I got for this one here. I would like to discuss with you some more stuff in the near future about best of 1 versus best of 3 and the pros and cons of it. I'm going to take a game developer stance on this one, and we'll talk about it then. If you guys want to see something like that, you know, hear about our opinions about best of 1 versus best of 3. I know a lot of you guys want best of 3, but
there's reasons why it can be that's not always the best.
Exactly. We'll talk about that if you guys want to hear about it. Just leave it down in the comment section. Smash that like button. Check out TeamAPS on YouTube. Great skit. I love your skits, by the way. Yeah, your recent ones.
You
very
in the comments. I will be down in the comments replying to people as well. So I don't know what you guys think. It'll be fun.
That's all I got. So if you guys enjoyed this video, smash a thumbs up and hit subscribe. Ding notification bell. Check out TeamAPS, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Best turn.